Hi, my name is Brittany Kyle, and I'll be giving my persuasive speech on why leasing a car is just as beneficial, at least for some people. First, I'm going to start out with some pictures of some very nice vehicles. We have here the 2008 Bentley Continental GTC drop top. Here you have your Mercedes-Benz 63 AMG. I really like this car. Here you have your Jaguar LX. And here you have your Lexus, which is more like a family car. It's a 2008 Lexus GX. These are all very nice cars, and we all would like to have one. Guys want to pick up the girls want to take it to the mall, so on and so forth. But a lot of people wonder, well, what is a lease, and how can it benefit me? Let me just start off by telling you what a lease is. A lease is the same thing as buying out a car. You just have smaller down payments, smaller monthly payments, and you have shorter terms. You don't have to pay the car off, you just have to fulfill your terms. When it comes down to transportation these days, many of us know that it's absolutely a necessity. So, some people don't think of leasing. They think that it's a negative thing, or that it's only for people that are in higher positions as doctors and dentists. That's not true. Leasing consists of smaller down payments, smaller monthly payments, which I've said, shorter terms, 24, 48, 36, and 60 term leases. You can always keep a newer car because you can trade it in within 2 and 4 years, sometimes earlier, and you always have the option of buying the car at the end of the lease. The only thing is, credit has to be within the 600 plus range, which not everybody has, but a lot of people do. Like I stated before, when people think of leasing, they think of doctors, lawyers, dentists, sports figures, football players, basketball players, so on and so forth. Yes, working at Autoflex Leasing these past 2 years, I have ran into a lot of people in those positions. But just the same, I've ran into a lot of regular old mojos who have regular paying jobs, who maintain their credit, who like to lease. Another sort of leasing are company leases, call them fleet leases. Companies use leasing to always keep good cars for their employees to travel around town in, so on and so forth. Tax write-offs. And it preserves that petty cash for the company to have for less depreciating things like a car. It also helps build the company credit up, that company and other companies in that same field. Types of leases. Almost most leases are closed-end leases. What is a closed-end lease, you ask? Well, a closed-end lease is basically, if you fulfill your term, the car is brought back in very good, pretty much good condition, no tires missing and scratches and so forth, and payments are made regularly and on time. You can just walk away from the car at the end of the lease, which is something we probably want to do, trade in for a newer car. Like I said, you do have the option of always buying the leased car. Another good thing about leasing is you profit at the end, most of the time. If the ending value of the car, let's say, is $8,000, and the payoff on the car is $10,000, you walk away with a $2,000 profit and a check in your hand for driving that car for 2 years. You don't get this when you get a car financed to you. Many different plans of leases. Let me tell you, at Autoflex there's over hundreds and hundreds of different plans of leases. We have plans for our doctors, plans for our lawyers, plans for our sports, and plans for our regular people. You just have to know what you want and tell your leasing specialist exactly what you need. Many misconceptions of leases. At the end of the lease, the customer will have to sell the car themselves to some other company. That's not true. At the end of the lease, you bring that car back and you get to walk away if it's in good condition. We take care of where the car goes. At the end of the lease, the customer is liable for any additional expenses. Not always true. If you go over your mileage, yes, you have to pay for that. If you blow out tires, yes, you have to pay for that. But if you don't have to pay for it. Logic. It costs the same, if not more, to lease. That's not true. When you lease, like I stated before, usually you have smaller down payments and smaller monthly payments. Do the math. If you're paying $400 a month on Mazda 6, buying and you're paying $300 on a Mazda 6 leasing, you're saving $100 a month, which is $1,200 a year. And if you put down a $500 down payment when you buy it and a $250 down payment when you lease it, you're saving $250 from the jump. So how is that more expensive? And leasing is only for businessmen and doctors. That's so not true. In the past years, leasing has grown over 50%. Now, you tell me if it's only for doctors and lawyers. In conclusion, I want to leave you with some thoughts. If you have never went to a company and asked them, what's the difference between leasing and buying and do I qualify? I think that you should, especially if you have pretty good credit and you really like to keep nice and new cars. I know I do, and that's all.